Are you not entertained? What an amazing finish to what Casey Matthews called a boring game at halftime. Austin Swartz puts the Superman cape on again and delivers for the Jays. Anybody that didn't catch the end of the game, Creighton down 2. Austin Swartz gets fouled and goes to the free throw line to shoot his 11th and 12th foul shot of the season. Makes the first one, misses the second, but gets his own rebound, and Casey puts it back up. And with 0.6 seconds left on the clock, nobody had a prayer, right? Xavier throws one the length of the court and missed it by about that much. What an ending to an absolutely incredible basketball game.
Let me just say this. I don't know what it looked like on TV, but
fantastic. It looked pretty good.
That pass, it might have been the best full court pass. I hate to be that guy, but might be the best full court pass I've ever seen. I mean, you couldn't have put it in a better place. So kudos to Xavier for even getting a chance to win that game at the very end. But yeah, what a finish to look, the second half was more exciting. There were some parts of that first half that were a little unexciting.
A little snooze fest, sure.
But yeah, I mean it's a heck of a win. It's an exciting win. Look, to overcome not having Jason.
Yeah. I buried the lead a little bit there, but to finish that game, you kind of had to, right?
Yeah, oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, and look, there's nobody in this arena that's happier than Jason right now. So he's dealing, with the shoulder, and hopefully it's not going to put him out too long. I mean, it's kind of nice that we're off this weekend, that maybe he has a little extra rest.
Yeah, for anybody that missed the second half of the game, Jason Green dealing with that heavily taped up shoulder that he has been all season. Missed the entire second half. Owen Freeman didn't play tonight due to an illness as well, and those are the two injury/sickness notes. We're expecting Creighton assistant coach Mitch Ballock to join us. As you can see, I'm at home. Casey's at the stadium tonight. I'm a little under the weather, so Casey, I appreciate
the Jimmy Allen flu game is what they're calling
it. Many are. This is very true. But no, I think the intensity ramped up. And I'm never going to be the take the Jason Green off the floor guy. I don't think anybody should ever be that guy. But I really feel like the intensity for Xavier ramped up when they saw that Jason wasn't available. And I think it's important to point out, I think Creighton absolutely answered the bell. I mean, listen, your de facto leader wasn't on the floor. Jason is the longest tenure guy really in this program that's a main contributor. And the fact that guy wasn't available and the other team kind of smelled the blood in the water, the fact that Creighton responded to it, I thought was incredible.
Yes, I agree. And I really felt like there were only a couple moments in the second half where, from a rebounding perspective, from a physicality perspective, and a toughness perspective, that we looked outmatched. For the most part, I felt like the guys responded, and that was nice to see. I mean, you look at the rebounding battle, like it's a little skewed because of the offensive rebound, and then the at the end there, but it was 14-10 in our favor. In the second half, 30-29 overall. So to not have your 5-man essentially, and sorry, we got a comment from our guy Coop. Coop's vomiting, so hope you feel better, Coop.
Hey, you and me too, both, buddy, just for different reasons.
But anyway, so to not have him and still fight like that, I thought was really really impressive. So yeah, I mean, hat tip to the guys. Today was we played well. I mean, there were some moments today that were head scratchers, but for the most part, I felt like we got really good contributions, from most of our guys. I thought Nick Graves was outstanding.
Yeah, we're gonna get to him in a second. I want to touch on one thing you just mentioned though about the rebounding and Jason's absence while we're on it. For anyone that wasn't paying attention for those last 3 possessions and you weren't paying attention, who was playing the 5, by the way, Josh Dix was playing the 5. So if you want to know where Creighton was defensively, why those rebounding scales may have been tipped very much so in Xavier's favor, Josh Dix is a 2. He was playing down in the paint, just trying to do the best he could to protect the rim and box out and do whatever he could just to stop any of the bleeding in the paint. So, and listen, he got 2 stops. I mean, I'm not going to lobby for Josh Dix to play the 5 the rest of the year by any stretch of the imagination, but it clearly worked to some degree.
Well, it allows you. I mean, look, we can switch with Jason for sure. You can switch 5 ways, but I think it definitely it's difficult when you're used to playing against a normal 5-man, and then now you're playing against a smaller lineup. It is difficult because they're going to be able to switch 5 ways, and sometimes that can make teams less aggressive when they know that what's coming at them is going to be a totally 5-man switch defense, and it can. In some ways, I'm not saying it totally mimics a zone, but in some ways it can mimic a zone, and that it can slow you down and get you out of rhythm. And so certainly, it's not something I think Mac wants to go to, but out of necessity, he had to. And
I don't expect Greg McDermott to say, here on out, even with Jason back, we're going to move him to the 4. Josh Dix is now our starting 5. Hey, we needed somebody from Iowa to play the center this year, and I guess we just started the year with one guy.
That was good, Jimmy. I have to give you some credit on that.
You mentioned Nick Graves, and I apologize. I actually just closed out of the stat sheet here. I mean, he really had the best second half of his career in a Creighton Blue Jay uniform.
16 points, 9 assists, and 3 rebounds tonight, and just outstanding.
Yeah, he grabbed 4 boards too, and 3 of those being defensive. But he had the key 1 offensive rebound tonight, and. We've talked about the shakeup and the changes, or what needs to happen, or what can be different, and a lot of it has been the discussion about Ty Davis versus Nick Graves. And again, Ty tonight, just 1 point, 1 of 2 at the free throw line. I'm going to beat this drum until I can't anymore. I wouldn't change anything up. I think Nick Graves is giving you everything he can off the bench. I don't think he needs to start. I think it's a mentality hurdle thing for him, that if he's not being asked to be that starter, he's going to give you more. And I'm not pretending like I'm saying anything that Greg McDermott doesn't know. I'm just talking to the fans out there that have just been off the Ty Davis bandwagon, if there ever was one, for a very long time. I think it helps Nick Graves from a mentality standpoint to better understand the game or get into the flow of the game when he's not in that starting 5. I wouldn't take Ty out of that starting lineup.
Yeah, it's an interesting discussion. I mean, I think I would, but okay. The reason is only because Nick's playing 31 minutes. He played 31 minutes tonight.
Ty played 9.
So for me, it's like, if you're having to send a message on January 21st of toughness is important and effort is important, then I don't even know how to really finish that sentence, because you shouldn't have to be doing that. So it'll be interesting. We'll have to ask Mitch about that, because I do think it's getting to a point now where.
And again, though, I don't think this is sending a message. I think this guy is more comfortable in this situation versus the other, which is like, I don't have a problem with that. To me, it may have originally been about toughness or effort or what have you, but I think at this point it just comes down to, listen, we're having more success with Nick Graves coming off the bench. Why would you change that up?
Look, I definitely know what you're saying, and it's something that you have to give some thought to. I just wonder, I don't know. I don't know. You kind of have to ask Nick if he's more comfortable in that role, and maybe that's a conversation Mitch has had with him. But I understand. I'm not saying that I definitely would be beating a drum for switching it up. I just, at this point with the minutes, what are you know what I mean? It's not. He's playing more than starter minutes. So
to me, that's why it doesn't make sense, and why I don't think it's about a message. Yeah. I think it originally was. I'm not doubting that. I think it obviously.
I think you're right. I do. I want to say that. I think you're correct.
Well, I usually am. That's neither here nor there.
Yeah. But I think that what I'm saying is, if you're not sending a message, whether we both agree you're not, then what are you doing? And maybe it is your perspective there that Nick's just more comfortable in that role. I don't know. But at some point, to me, it's like, well, what do we, what's the point of not bringing him or not starting him? But either way, we can always beat that one. How about your boy Fedor tonight? Thought Fedor gave good minutes, 11 points.
Well, and I think the other lead of the night, by the way, is that there was 187 points scored in regulation. I don't think anybody under. Probably not 186, but Fedor played fantastic, man. Fedor in 20 minutes, which I was trying to go back and check, I think is the most minutes he's played all season. again, but I think that was a direct response to the Jason Green situation. I think you needed a spark from somebody to, I don't, maybe inspire is the wrong word, but to just give a shot in the arm from an effort standpoint. And I just think the body language is different when he's on the court. I'm not going to sit here and say that every game is going to be the Fedor Zugic breakout game, like many have. But I just think that body language looks different from the guys around him when he's on the court. And to me, that matters. Specifically, there's certain times where this team just doesn't look like they've got any kind of energy, and they need that.
Yeah. I mean, I thought he was good tonight. I thought he hit open shots. I thought he did a good job moving the ball. There were definitely some things that I feel like he did, he did well with. I haven't been as high on him, as some others. So it's nice to see him have some production. It's nice to see him contribute. I feel like with Jason being hurt, Mac had to play some lineups that probably didn't plan on playing. Right? And yeah, but it's good for him to be able to do that. So I just think for Fedor, it's just, you need consistency. You need a guy that again, going back to what we talked about at halftime, what Max said in that interview was you want to know what guys are going to give you when you put them in the game. And yeah. I don't know if Fedor is on that list of knowing what you're going to get.
And I think it's important to talk about the other thing we talked about at halftime is, the toughness of this team. That's something that has been called into question all season long, is how tough, how physical can this team be? They showed a ton of physical and mental resilience at the end of this game. And I know a lot of people are going to want to point at Austin Swartz and say, well, he's been mentally and physically, he's arguably maybe the most mentally and physically tough kid on the team all year. But I think Josh responded well. And again, they did it without their defensive presence on this team. And they did it giving up 93 points. It didn't roll over. And again, those are participation trophy-esque statements. But again, when you're looking at a silver lining of we've got to will our way to the tournament by the end of this thing, I think a lot of that stuff showed up tonight.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think all around effort to me was really, really good, especially in that second half. And I do feel like the guys rallied. They understood not having Jason on the court was going to create opportunities, but also an increase in effort and increase of energy in order to pull this one out. And I feel like they did that. And these are, you hate that the season is at where it's at in terms of likelihood of an at-large, because these are games that could really propel you and games that can, I don't know if light a fire is the right word, but they just give you energy and they make you, I don't know, you can get carryover, from games. I will say this. I think it's fantastic that we have this one. Now the guys get the weekend off.
Yeah.
And can rest a little bit and maybe just, I don't know if catch up on sleep, but just stay off there. I know Mac's always big on that kind of staying off your feet and, resting your body.
Jeremy is too. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. So
yeah. And I like what you just mentioned there a minute ago. You said that guys took advantage of the Jason injury. And there's a lot of people that in that situation would roll over and woe is me and our defensive presence is gone and I'm not a 5 and what are we going to do now? And the season's already a wash and why should we try? We didn't see any of that from anybody tonight. And listen, I know there's somebody out there right now typing on their keyboard. These guys get paid X amount of dollars. Of course they're not going to quit. Easier than said than done, man. Hey, have we heard from Mitch yet? Do we know if he's going to be able to come up to the box or if he's going to join us remotely?
You know what? We haven't heard from him yet. Let me try to hit him again.
Okay. And again, this is the Roll Jays podcast brought to you by Pepper Jack's Grill and Pyramid Contractors. Mitch Ballock going to join us for the Signovation Coach's Corner. If you're looking for great-looking indoor-outdoor signage, or maybe you want to decal your entire fleet for your company, check out OmahaSignsAndWraps.com. Today, Creighton wins 94-93 over Xavier. They sweep the Musketeers after the biggest upset or biggest lopsided win in the history of Centos Center. They come back and only win by 1 point against Xavier tonight. And we talk about the path and being able to work your way into the Big East
coming up here
into the NCAA tournament. But obviously the bigger question is the games that you can't lose, Casey. And I don't think anybody's going to confuse this version of Xavier as a contender for the Big East tournament. This is definitely one of those games you could not afford to lose.
No, you can't lose this one. Not at home. I mean, I've been pretty honest in terms of like what I think, like as far as our chances. But you lose this one, it goes beyond having to beat UConn.
Yeah,
and it becomes almost flat out impossible. So at least we're still in there. We still have a chance. There's still something to play for in regards to the NCAA tournament, but certainly we're behind the eight ball. We're behind the eight ball, but at least you're still fighting. I think the however it turns out with Jason is obviously going to be quite important.
Yeah, and I wouldn't expect Mitch to be able to speak to it tonight because there's probably some lingering stuff. Clearly, with the way his shoulder's been wrapped all season, but if he's not available, there's even more question marks than I think anybody cares to answer for the remainder of the season.
Yeah, I don't even want to go there and think about what that would look like. But when he does get up here, we'll take a quick commercial break, Jimmy, so I can switch over some audio.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
For Mitch.
And again, Creighton assistant coach Mitch Ballock going to join us here shortly. It looks like the players and coaches are just now getting into the press conference too, which Mitch obviously is going to speak at that, but could have something to do with why he's a little delayed getting up here tonight. Creighton shoots 54% from the field tonight, and that may be a staggering number. If you didn't see the final score, it's kind of hard to get to 94 in regulation if you're not shooting well. But 3-point possessions have been really missing and lacking over the last couple of games. Creighton also shoots 54% from three tonight after a very porous performance their last time out. It feels cliche to say, but you obviously needed a spark from that point guard position. I think Nick Graves gave that to you tonight. I think that's a direct correlation to why, and specifically his 9 assists are really why we saw the improvement in the 3-point shooting tonight.
Oh, I mean, he was so good. I mean, 9 assists, but 0 turnovers.
Yeah, that's huge.
To go along with him actually scoring the ball, I thought he was phenomenal. And you're right. I mean, his passes were on time. They were on target. They allowed guys to get into their shot. It was just all around. I feel like this probably was his best game, just in terms of being the point guard. Like he maybe has had better scoring games. I don't know what his season high is, but in terms of just being the point guard tonight and being what we needed him to be, I thought this was up there, if not the best game for him in a Jays uniform. So very happy for him and just proud of him overall. So hold on, Mitch is now. He said he's on the elevator. Jays fans, he's on the elevator. So.
Yeah. So if you're looking to get a Mitch Ballock autograph and you're still in the building, go ahead and run over there and push the button real quick. Man, I hope that actually happens. When we talk about what's next for this Jays team, you kind of alluded to what the rest of the schedule, well, not the rest of the schedule, but what's coming up and the rest that's needed. They're going to be trading basically home and away games for almost the remainder of the season. And when you're in the middle of it and that's the situation, you're not home consistently, that's just another hurdle that this team is really going to have to overcome.
It is, but look, I mean, these guys are all college basketball players. I mean, shoot, you might as well call them professional basketball players at this point, right? So
you might be adding a couple of those to the roster by the end of the season for most schools.
We need to try. We wouldn't go into that. I texted Marcus about that today since he's on their staff, and his response was funny. But no, I mean, I think you can't worry too much about on the road, home. I think we have, when you look at the road versus home ones, you have St. John's on the road. You have UConn on the road. So those are obviously.
Are they good?
Yeah, they're both good.
Yeah,
but you get Villanova and you get Seton Hall at home, and those are two games.
You already beat Villanova and Philadelphia too.
Yeah, 2 big games though that I think could go a long way for us. So. Certainly need to find a way to pull those out if we're going to continue, be in position to be in position. So, you got to keep playing. Here he is right here. All
right. We'll take a quick break here. We'll come back with Creighton assistant coach Mitch Ballock.
Why you need to try Pepper Jack's Grill, the best Philly cheesesteak in America. At Pepper Jack's Grill, we craft your Philly just the way you like it. Fresh ingredients, sizzling on the grill, and endless customization options. Not just Phillies, we've got rice bowls, burritos, nachos, and even vegetarian choices. And don't forget those crispy fries with our famous spicy ranch. With 10 great locations in Omaha, there's a delicious meal waiting for everyone in the family. Pepper Jack's Grill, your Philly.
At Pyramid Contractors, we do it all. From repairing or replacing your roof to updating siding, windows, or gutters. When you have a home improvement project, call Pyramid Contractors.
PyramidRoof.com, never settle for less.
You have no idea how bad I just wanted to cancel the commercial break and come back.
I said, we live? He said, no. I said, all right.
Yeah. For anybody that most of you, I guess I'm the only one. Anybody that couldn't see the screen during the commercial break, Casey and Mitch are getting very comfortable.
It's been a while, man.
We love each other. Good friends.
It is the Sinovation Coaches Quarter segment with great assistant coach Mitch Ballock. Coach, obviously, a win tonight in a must-win situation. No Jason Green for that second half. How did you feel like your team responded to adversity tonight?
I don't think we responded very well. I mean, we gave up 93 points on our home court.
Sure.
I think they shot 65% in the second half. They kind of picked and choose who they wanted to go at. It was kind of a different guy every time outside of Josh Dix. So we have to address that and obviously show the film and show that, hey, this is going to continue to keep happening if we don't do something about it and draw a line in the sand and do anything. But at the end of the day, I mean, sometimes you need a little luck on your side. And obviously that play that coach drew up out of that timeout with 4.3 seconds left to miss off the left side and get your own rebound and then kiss it off the glass for game. I think that's really genius because these guys are getting tired and wanting to go home. So
yeah, well, we know you draw up the inbounds play, so I'm assuming that you had your hand in that one as well, right?
The free throw specials is all Coach Mack.
Oh, okay.
Coach Mack.
Can you recall a game like this, like in your career? I was trying to think of one as you're on your way up here, but I can't remember a finish like that with a rebound off of a missed free throw. But then also, I don't know if from your angle, how good was that pass that Xavier made at the end of the game?
Oh, unbelievable.
It might have been the best.
It was unbelievable
pass I've seen.
I mean, I looked at Trey, like my eyes were wide and I was like, that had a real chance. And the crazy thing is, obviously you have a guy that's probably our most, outside of Shane Thomas, most athletic guy on the ball, jumping around. And when you have the baseline to run, it's tough because if you take off, he's gonna run. So he jumps, he takes off. But a guy throwing an Aaron Rodgers pass 94 feet.
Pat Mahomes.
Pat Mahomes, I missed an opportunity.
Shoot. That was a Tua pass.
Yeah. Tua going left. Pat going right.
I don't think the Xavier player passing it in had a concussion. I don't think that was a Tua pass.
I mean, it was unbelievable. The guy gave it a chance, and he put it right there, and obviously he got a hand on it and almost put it in. I mean, it was good to get out of there the way that we did, obviously.
Can you talk about Nick Graves tonight? I mean, 9 assists, no turnovers, 16 points, 3 boards. Like, from a guy that's been criticized as heavily as that dude continues to get criticized by our fans, like, what is that? I mean, how hard is that to come out and play like that?
The cool thing for him is that the things we coach him on is not those things, obviously. Like, defensively, like if he's engaged and really locked in on that end of the floor, usually he has games like this. But the games that he's not and he's out of rhythm or he's out of flow, then his minutes start to get messed up and he starts to play. It's just a little – he's never in rhythm when he plays like that. But when he takes care of stuff on the ball, I mean, he made that play late. He was one-on-one. He went up. I mean, blocked the shot. I think we were down 2 with however much time left. Like, he made a game-saving play. That was the reason we got the ball back, I think. But I have to go back and watch it. But obviously, having the composure to come in, I think he had 16-9. And, I mean, the biggest thing was he had 4 turnovers. Yeah. So when you have a guy like that, you can count and lean on to run your offense. And they were pressuring us more than they were at their place. So we were able to open up some double gaps and drive the seam. And he kind of loosened the pressure up, and he got downhill and scored 3 different buckets at the rim. But when he's doing that stuff, I mean, it's really hard for us to be stopped essentially. And when him and Austin are really hooked up, we usually win those games. So.
Hey, Mitch, just because I've been in your situation and I know how ripe Casey can smell sometimes, I could hear you. I could hear you fine. So you'd have to lean closer to the microphone. Tonight, we obviously saw Jason miss the second half. Owen was out tonight with an illness as well. It's the middle of January. Everybody's obviously hurt. What are your expectations for Jason Green following tonight, being able to get back into the lineup?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what it was right now. I mean, obviously he's been dealing with the shoulder. I think this was unrelated. Obviously I'm not at liberty. Like, I don't even know. I haven't even been in the locker room to talk to him or have a conversation with him. But it's going to, if he's not able to go, it's always going to turn into that next man up mentality. And then obviously Owen's got a bug right now that's kind of going around everywhere. I think Coach alluded to it. Yeah, Coach alluded to the fact that Owen and Fedora have a class together, and there's usually 40 people in that class, and I think there were 7 in class today. So it's going around campus, it's going around school. So just ensuring that we take care of ourselves, especially the guys are going to have Thursday, Friday off the next 2 days. They just stay in, don't be stupid. Enjoy the win, obviously, but take care of yourself and continue to keep taking care of yourself, because we're at a point in the season where we can't afford to have bodies out and lose games.
We were just kind of talking about this before you walked up, the home and away situation. Like, listen, it's flu season. It's going around. We just talked about that. But is there any concern at all that you guys are traveling and stuff with all the illness that's running through the locker room right now as well?
Yeah, I would say yes. We kind of, like, Ben does a good job of keeping the guys away from the guys that have something maybe that's contagious. If it's just a little cold or something, then we can get by with it. But for things that our guys have that are contagious, he just tries to send them home and keep them away from the team just to kind of stop the spread or prevent the spread. I think he does a good job at that. So hopefully we can nip it in the bud. And when Owen's healthy and non-contagious, he comes back and we can get back to where we're at. And
I want to point out, I did my part. I stayed home today. If you're sick,
that's what I'm talking about.
Don't go to the Chi. I'm doing it for the Jays. I'm doing it for the Jays.
Talk about when you play against a lineup that switches 5 ways. We had to go to that tonight. What's the difference when you're running your offense against that kind of defense that's switching 5 ways, especially we're talking about our defense, but I want you to put it in terms for our fans understanding the way we play with shooting and a timing-based offense. How does that affect it?
Yeah, it's a difficult thing to go against. And obviously, like, historically, that's not what Coach Pitino does. This one, at least, it's not what Coach Pitino does. And they played UConn 2 games after we did, 2 games after us the first time, and they switched UConn. So today we didn't want to paralyze our guys. So we started talking about it today, just because, I mean, St. John's did it to us at home. So we're saying if he had any conversation with his dad, then we're probably going to see this, right? So to start the game, they didn't. And then especially like the last 7 minutes, they did it at a stretch before the 12-minute mark. And then the last 7 minutes, they went to that switching. But when you have guys like on our team, and obviously with Jason, like, Jason understands switching really well because he's played against it. And when you don't understand the switching and the angles, and you don't understand how to get out or how to slip out and put pressure on the rim to pull triggers and create those long closeout situations, it's really hard. And Karam doesn't have as good of a feel, and he doesn't have as good of pace getting in and out of things. And when you have guards that are kind of stagnant and rely on others to make plays for one another, like, if you break it down, Austin's one of those guys that can create an advantage. And then obviously we started opening up those double gaps to get Nick to the rim and just get that pressure and get him in a closeout situation, because when they switch, it just stalls you out, right? And you have to have that movement. I mean, we ran into multiple screens that we call them ghost screens, where you kind of touch and go. Obviously, Trey Carroll wants to switch. That's what he's programmed to do. So getting those dominoes falling with those ghost screens, and just understanding that sometimes you're going to have to screen them. Like, there was one where Ty gets downhill and got fouled at the rim. We actually set that screen. We told him to go in and set it, because we had been ghosting. They had been staying with. So if you screen them, now you create that advantage and get those dominoes falling. But historically, like, physicality and those switching teams are hard to play against, just because those triggers aren't pulled as much. Like, obviously, if the guys are helping and we can roll our big to the rim, then they have to help there, and then we can play on the behind. But switching teams stall you out, and we let it stall us out because our pace sucked. If you don't have pace in the cuts, it's hard to score. And I say this, and we had 94 points. So, I mean, it's different.
That's one theory, I guess.
Right. If you go back and watch that St. John's game, it was a little different. So we just have to keep seeing it. We have to keep drilling it and practice and understand how we want to attack it and how we want to exploit the defense.
You brought up Karam a minute ago, and I want to ask about it, because a couple, I think it was 3 games ago, he got to speak to the media in the post game, and you could tell the language barriers there, right? And he's a young man that I feel like every time he gets out there, that you could see the little bit of improvement. What have you seen from him from when he first got here? Obviously, English is his first language, and how he's kind of developed to this point today on January 21st.
Yeah, it's been pretty incredible. When he first got here, he kind of had to be third or fourth in line for drills just to watch people do it and understand. Like, he didn't understand what we were saying. So, especially because he missed the whole summer, right? So he showed up in August or whatever he did. So he didn't understand any of the terminology. He didn't understand any of the style of play or any of that. So he was already dealing with that. He's going to class for the first time ever. And then now he has to understand how to get MF'd in a language that he can't even understand. So it's like, all this stuff's running through his head. He's trying to figure it out. And Fedor's trying to be a little bridge the gap with speaking Serbian to him. And it was difficult, but now he's to the point where you can tell him something like in a timeout or in a huddle, and he can actually take it to the floor and do it without like really having to show him multiple times. And I think that's a huge asset. And like, we try to keep him in one or two base defenses. Like, hey, this is what we're going to do on ball screens. It's only this, right? Because if you start switching things and there might be a miscommunication that he doesn't always get the translation or he doesn't always get the message. So now our defense looks even worse than it does. So we try to keep it really simple, but he's done an unbelievable job. And obviously when you're here and in the culture and speaking the language every day, you're going to grow and you're going to go through it. And just the approach and everything that he does, he's a really smart kid, a really high IQ on the basketball floor.
I want to retcon something. They do have schools in Turkey, so this is not the first time he's going.
Well, first time I went to an English-speaking school. My bad, Jimmy. I'm glad you're at home.
There's the reason I'm taking these liberties. You can't get to me. So.
Yeah. He hasn't been to a real American school.
Fair enough.
What was the game plan on Trey Carroll tonight? I mean, he still had a great game, but I mean, did you feel like we executed anything we were trying to do? I mean, just talk about that. He's obviously one of the better players that we're going to play.
Yeah. Game plan was obviously be there on the catch. I think he was 3 for 24 in conference coming into this game. He got a little comfortable. And then the game plan was to double him in the post and send different looks at him a couple of times. Like he's a smart player and he figured it out really early. And we threw a hot at him we threw a double at their place. And for the first time. And
thanks for dumbing that down for us regular folks, by the way.
Yeah. We threw the double at him and they kind of figured out where it was coming from and all that. And then tonight he was really, really smart in executing it. And then at the end of the day, we were just really soft. I mean, we let him, he's a left-handed. We know he's going to go right. We know he's going to spin back to his left. And we just got we got beat on the scouting report more than he beat us with stuff that we didn't expect. So when they do that, that really infuriates us. Like if he's hitting tough shots and getting to his right and finishing tough shots, like he made 2 tough ones going to his left, but he's still going to his left.
And that was the difference between the first game and this game, right? I mean, he really only went right in that first game out in Cincinnati, and there was obviously an effort to get him to the other side of the
100%. And if you remember that game, I think they took him out at like the 17-minute mark, and they were frustrated and didn't play him the rest of the game. And that was after he had a 30-point game against Cincinnati. And then obviously in the second half, we just said, well, Josh came to the huddle and said, yo, I got him. No double, none of that BS. Let me guard him. And we said, bet. Take it. That's all you, man.
I really don't appreciate how much Mitch radio edits himself. That since we're on a podcast now, I mean, you can drop an F-bomb if you want. There's no FCC regulations.
I try to stay away from the F-bombs.
He's a family man, you know.
Yeah, sure.
I appreciate it. My wife loves Mitch partly because he's such a good dude. Other than, was she your teammate in the cornhole game in my backyard? Was it?
Oh yeah, that was a route.
Wasn't a route. But
I have a feeling it was probably a route. But
it was a route. Case stinks. My wife was carrying Casey. I was getting
I have zero doubt in anything you just said.
I'm a good cornhole player. Anyways, I wanted to kind of follow up on that with Trey. Max said in one of his interviews about playing certain guys, you need to know what you're going to get. You said it's infuriating when you have a scouting report and it's not followed. How much of those two are correlated, and how much of it is just because we were talking about this before you came on. It's like it's not just about like how many points are you going to score. Like you don't really know how many points you're going to score. And I'm not you don't like when I talk about how good of a shooter you were, but you had nights where you weren't on, but at least we knew Mitch is going to be in the right spots. He's going to give us everything he's got. He's going to communicate. The scouting report's going to be followed.
I'm not going to be able to stop the bucket, but I'll be in the right spot, you know?
Yes, you're at least going to have your hands up.
Jack up 11 threes, whatever.
Yeah. It's the same. It's on the same playing field. It's very hard and it's very difficult. Like if you scout us, we have 1,000 plays, right? If you scout these teams, like good offensive minds and a lot of good college basketball coaches, they have a lot of stuff. They run a lot of stuff. They tweak it depending on how you're defending it. That stuff doesn't matter, right? I thought the last 2.5 minutes of the game, we actually showed a little bit of teeth and cohesiveness and we fought, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And if we could just fight like that for 40 minutes, the score might be 74-88, we get more stops, but when the guys, it's actually good, especially to get out of a game like that. It's good with that last 2.5 minutes that we had if you learn from it. Now, if we just go and do the same thing over and over again and expect the same results to keep squeezing by on these BS games, those are 2 losses we should have had at home, right? And those last 2.5 minutes, I think, is pivotal for us going forward to be successful and not let this happen again, because we showed that we can do it. Now we just have to put it together for 40 minutes, not 2.5 minutes.
Hey, we kind of talked about Nick a little bit already, and Casey and I were talking about this. And if it's a locker room thing, you can't talk about it, it's fine. But when we talk about Ty Davis and Nick Graves and the way the Ty started, Nick has come off the bench and what he's given, does Nick seem more comfortable in that role at this moment and not being able to start the game and just kind of seeing the game develop and then going in?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, Nick's handled this extremely well. I had a conversation with him yesterday. He's like, this is the first time I've ever come off the bench, but he's like, I understand why I'm doing it, right? Mm-hmm. And the point was made versus K-State, right? He played 6 minutes, I think. Him and Blake both. And the point, yeah, we lost the game, but those guys were playing at a high level. They kind of got us back in the game. They showed kind of what Creighton basketball is about. If you're not making shots, you're not doing this, you're still playing hard. You're still fighting. You're still playing in a way where when you come back here, when you graduate, the crowd and the fans are excited to see you because of the effort that you gave and not the points that you scored. So, it's a different meeting. That Creighton across your jacket, it's a different meeting. And once you get to the point where you understand what it's about and you do it the way that the people before you did it, then you start to get, people have immediate buy-in, especially guys that come out of the portal in one-year situations. And he learned. And when it's just like that famous quote, that famous quote from Bobby Knight, ass meets bench, sends message to brain sends message to body, and it gets ass off the bench.
I knew we'd get him to drop one curse word.
I mean, obviously I butchered that, but you know how it works. And Nick does an unbelievable job of that. And then obviously Mac, when he finds something that works, Casey, this as much as anybody, and he finds he's more of a superstitious guy. And he likes that. He doesn't care who starts the game. He's not into all that flashy stuff. He's going to get you to buy into how you fit into the unit, whether that's coming on off the bench or starting the game. And in the last couple of games, he started the second half too, because we liked we liked the output that he put on the defensive end and what he was doing. So he just needs to continue to do that and continue to buy in. And then Ty does a really good job of kind of setting the tone and having that leadership and kind of getting that voice going and getting the game started in the right way. And that's kind of what it's transpired into.
Hey, Mitch, we won't keep you all night. And, usually when we have you on, we want you to solve the world's problems. So I'm going to ask you a very political question real quick.
Love it.
We've obviously seen this influx of former G League players being able to come back in and go back to the schools that either they played at or have been recruited at, things like that. How do you feel about the landscape of college basketball right now with that availability for a player that didn't play in the NBA but has clearly left college and come back?
I just called Trey Alexander to come back today. So no,
all right. Well,
no, it's crazy and
breaking news. No,
yeah. I mean, it's kind of a free for all, honestly.
Sure.
The rules are going to keep changing. Matt kind of says it best, especially when I first got into the business. 3 years ago. He said it's ever changing, but this is how it is. And if you want to stay in it or be successful in it, you have to change with it.
Absolutely.
And if you're not willing to change, then you're going to get left behind. Obviously we still have a system that we follow and what we want. And we value a certain I don't know, personality or we
moral code,
value certain moral code. We value certain traits. I'm not saying we're never going to do it. I'm obviously not making those decisions, but if it makes sense and it fits our locker room and fits our style, we're not going to blow up our culture for someone that might fit in that mold. We're going to keep our culture intact and kind of do it the way that we do it because we're very process oriented around Creighton. So
I think Casey's got some eligibility left. If you guys,
hey, honestly, if you got something too, Jimmy, we can get it going.
Mitch has seen the jump.
I got a half an ankle. You don't want me.
I think I'm 6 years removed. I had one with the COVID year, so technically I could have played if it was 2 years ago. I really messed up.
Mitch has seen some of the I don't know if we call them manager games or whatever we would play before games, and you don't want me on the court. I can assure you of that. So my eligibility is over.
Hey, if Casey can miss a free throw on the left side and let somebody go get it,
do that.
Hey, that's a skill, man. That's a skill. Missing that free throw like that, we put the right guy at the position, and then
nobody saw it coming down one.
Nobody. Yeah. See, that's the thing. When you're down two, everybody kind of knows. So you like to pull a fast one.
Yeah, I like
just because so many people have asked because of the way this interview started. There's many people on Twitter and our text messages tonight that would like to know, is Mitch the big spoon or is Casey the big spoon?
Wow, that's crazy. I'm out of here.
All right, that's Mitch Ballock, great assistant coach that joined us.
That's crazy.
The people want to know. I don't.
We're gonna mic drop that and end the show with that tonight. We appreciate everyone that joined us tonight. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys for having me on.
The Big East Energy below. If you want to find out if Mitch is the big spoon or the little spoon, maybe that'll be in a podcast in the near future. Make sure you like
it will not be
subscribe tonight. We'll see you next time. Jays win 97. Excuse me. I'm sorry. They win 94-93. I've been Jimmie Allen. That's Casey Matthews. We'll see you next time.